In this video, we will tackle an interesting and often misunderstood question. Why can't Muslims have dogs? This topic combines aspects of religion, culture, and traditions that vary widely across different Muslim communities. We'll explore the reasons behind this practice, from religious teachings that shape the perception of dogs to cultural differences that affect how this issue is lived in various parts of the world. Join us as we take a closer look to better understand why this rule exists and how it applies in different contexts. Let's get started. Number 1. Ritual impurity. In Islam, ritual purity is a fundamental aspect of daily life and is directly tied to a Muslim's ability to perform acts of worship, like the daily prayers. Dogs, particularly their saliva, are considered najis or impure, according to interpretations of several hadiths attributed to Prophet Muhammad. These texts suggest that if a dog licks an object, such as a utensil, it must be washed repeatedly, in some narrations up to 7 times, one of those with soil, to remove the impurity. This belief has deep implications for Muslims, as any contact with a dog's saliva would require ritual cleansing before they can participate in religious acts. The concept of ritual impurity isn't just limited to physical contact with dogs, it also extends to the environment in which they live. Having a dog at home could require constant monitoring to ensure prayer spaces remain pure and free from any possible contamination. This is especially relevant for prayer, where physical and spiritual purity is required. The presence of a dog in the home could complicate this process, creating an environment that, for some Muslims, might be considered less spiritually suitable. Number 2. Cultural influence. Cultural influence on Muslims' relationship with dogs has historical and social roots that go beyond religious teachings. In many traditional Muslim societies, dogs have been seen primarily as working animals. In rural areas, for example, dogs are valued for their ability to protect livestock, guard properties, or assist in hunting. These roles have cemented the perception that dogs serve a functional purpose in society, rather than an emotional or companion role. As a result, the idea of having a dog as a pet, in the Western sense, has not been the cultural norm in many Muslim communities, where other animals, such as cats, are more commonly accepted and valued as domestic companions. The perception of dogs has also been shaped by literature, folklore, and history within Muslim cultures. In some traditional stories, dogs may be seen as creatures with an ambiguous status, capable of both protecting and causing harm, depending on the context. This duality has reinforced the idea that dogs are better suited for specific roles, like guarding, and not necessarily as part of everyday family life. Additionally, in many Muslim cultures, community life plays a central role, and social norms are often influenced by the desire to maintain harmony and conformity within the community. Number 3. Focus on cleanliness. The focus on cleanliness in Islam is not limited to the ritual purity needed for prayer, but also encompasses a broader philosophy that values hygiene and maintaining a clean, orderly environment. This attention to cleanliness is evident in the daily practices of Muslims, who often perform ablutions before each prayer and maintain strict personal and domestic hygiene routines. In this context, the presence of a dog in the home could be seen as an additional challenge to this standard of cleanliness, as dogs, being animals that can dirty the environment with mud, fur, and other residues, require constant effort to keep the home in the desired condition. The commitment to cleanliness in Muslim life is also reflected in the design and maintenance of the home. In many Muslim cultures, great importance is placed on keeping domestic spaces tidy and free of elements that might be considered impure or disordered. This includes particular attention to areas where food is eaten, where people sleep, or where prayers are performed, ensuring they are free from any kind of dirt. In this sense, having a dog in the house could be seen as complicating the maintenance of this standard, as dogs, by their nature, may carry dirt and parasites. Number 4. Fear of spiritual harm. The fear of spiritual harm related to the presence of dogs in the home is rooted in deeply held beliefs within certain interpretations of Islam. These beliefs are influenced by hadiths that suggest the presence of a dog in the house may prevent angels from entering, which, according to tradition, could deprive the home of divine blessings and spiritual protection. This concern is not just about ritual purity, but extends to a broader view of how elements of the environment can affect a family's spiritual well-being. For many Muslims, the idea that their home might not be under the protection of angels is a significant spiritual risk, reinforcing the decision to avoid keeping dogs in their homes. This fear of spiritual harm is also related to the perception that dogs, being associated with impurity, might bring with them negative energies or influences that disturb the spiritual harmony of the home. In some Muslim cultures, it is believed that dogs, being animals that often roam in dirty or impure places, might carry with them more than just physical dirt, affecting the spiritual atmosphere of the home. These beliefs intertwine with a worldview in which the domestic space must be protected not only from physical threats, but also from spiritual influences that could disrupt the balance and serenity that is sought in a Muslim home. Number 5. In which Muslim countries can you have dogs? There are Muslim countries where owning dogs is more acceptable and common, though with certain restrictions and specific contexts. In general, the attitude toward dogs varies depending on religious interpretations, cultural influences, and social norms in each country. Here are some examples. In Turkey, a country with a long history of modernization and westernization, having dogs as pets is relatively common, especially in urban areas. Although some conservative sectors of society may be more reluctant, in general, dogs are welcomed, and it is common to see them in parks and public spaces. In Indonesia, the country with the largest Muslim population in the world, attitudes toward dogs vary widely. In urban areas and among the more educated and cosmopolitan classes, keeping dogs as pets is becoming increasingly common. However, in rural areas and among more conservative communities, reluctance toward dogs remains strong. In Lebanon, a country with a significant Muslim population but also with important religious diversity, dogs are quite common as pets, especially in Beirut and other major cities. Western cultural influence is strong in Lebanon, which has led to greater acceptance of dogs in society. In Malaysia, attitudes toward dogs also vary. Although Islam is the official religion and many Muslims follow traditional teachings, there is a growing acceptance of dogs, especially among the youth and in urban areas. In some cases, authorities have promoted campaigns to educate people about responsible dog ownership, particularly regarding hygiene and respect for religious norms. What do you think? Here's a video that, according to YouTube, is ideal for you. Well, that's all for now. See you next time.